My TikTok never fixes in the very beginning. Hi. So this particular live may not be that long because I have to go get my husband here relatively shortly. So I may only be on here like 20 minutes, half an hour. I'm not really sure. But I figured I'd step back on here. So I put up a couple videos just now. One of them just now, like literally just now, got on here. And I was talking in one of the videos. I was talking about the person who requested Nick's file. I know that for some reason that decided to break on here like it was a big deal. It's not a big deal. Things are FOIA'd all the time. But I did want to talk about that because somebody did message it to me yesterday. I got super excited thinking it was like a big deal. I went looking into it, and unfortunately things are FOIA'd all the time. So it really wasn't that big of a huge breaking thing. So I didn't even make a video on it. And then everybody started making videos. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll just add this on here. Look, the only rumors that I know of right now, and again, this is rumors because nothing is I'm actually waiting for confirmation from one of my locals. But there is a rumor that Gypsy is on house arrest with an ankle monitor. I'm waiting to see from people that I know if they happen to know. I don't know if she is gonna know or not, but I did reach out to her to see if she had any idea. So I guess we'll wait to see there. As of right now, it's alleged that she is on house arrest. I don't really know how we're really honestly going to verify that. The only real way that rumor is going to be put to bed is for Gypsy to essentially go live and show her ankles. I mean, Fancy had to do it. when Thea, I think it was Thea put out there that she was on freaking house arrest or something. Fancy literally went live and showed her ankles. So I guess the easiest way to put that rumor to rest is to go live, show her ankles, and put that shit to rest. I mean, that's the simplest way to do it. For me, whenever there's a situation, you just come with the proof, you come with the facts, and you show them. So like there's so many things that could just be put to bed by people just literally being proactive in what they're doing. So if Gypsy wants to put to bed a rumor that she's on house arrest with an ankle monitor, go live, show your ankles, and that puts that rumor to rest. It's that simple. Just like I've also told somebody that they can absolutely be Clark Kent and Superman at the same time and decide to go live but funnily enough, neither of them are going live. Shocker, figure that fuck out. While I'm talking about that, apparently after I went live with Fancy and Barbecue Lady, as luck may have it, Thea decided to post a video saying that, she wasn't in the live, but somebody sent her clips and, she couldn't defend herself because she wasn't there. Here I am. Feel free to come tell me what you have on me with proof, please. Because here I am. And I know you're here. You can tell me that you didn't watch and somebody sent you a clip all you want. We all know the truth. We know that it chapped your fucking ass that I had Fancy and Barbecue Lady in a fucking live with me. It chapped your ass last time. So if you want to bitch and moan and say that you didn't get to say this or you didn't get to do that or you didn't know, we both know that you're watching. Hop the box with proof, not just rumors, with actual proof. Box is open. Because that's the difference between you and me. I'm not gonna fucking hide shit. So right, but allegedly, there was a parole hearing last week or a couple days ago or something, allegedly. That's the problem is there is what happened to her people like Little Miss Wonderland who would go live with her? The one who wasn't she the one who said she was missing and then wasn't missing, if I remember correctly? I remember that whole debacle. No, there isn't anybody left to go live with her. She's burned every bridge she's ever. She burns the bridges while standing on them. She burns the bridges while standing on them. She's that level of, you know. So she wants to bitch. Get in the box with proof, with absolute fucking proof. Other than that, shut your fucking hole. And then, you know, and now she's emailing Fancy in a fucking frenzy, throwing Dawn and Brandy and Tori and everybody else she can fucking handle, throwing me, of course, in there that I was sent by Christy, or I don't know, I'm very confused. It turns around all the fucking time. It turns around all the fucking time. I'm not really sure exactly what. I'd have to look at the email again. But essentially she's, you know, she's having fun. She's throwing Dawn out there, she's throwing Brandy out there, she's throwing Tori out there, she's throwing Kendall out there. She's just throwing everybody out there. She's just, don't look at me, don't look at me, don't look at me, look at everybody else. So you know, she was in my messenger telling me that it was Brandy and Dawn and Tori, and now she's in Fancy's email saying all that. I'm sorry, but I think thou dost protest too much. You know, when me and Fancy were saying that, you know, we have screenshots of people sending screenshots to us about people that they have worked with, and they're sending screenshots. Immediately she's like, Ryan's saying it's me. I never said that. I said, we have people sending screenshots, caving on each other. I didn't say who was sending the screenshots. I didn't say who the screenshots were of. I said there was people screenshotting conversations of people being shitty and sending them to us. I didn't say who was sending them or who they were being sent about. For some reason, you decided that I was blaming you. I'm sorry, but I think you sound completely fucking guilty. Because I never in there said that. I said that we have people sending these things. I didn't name names. So I'm not really sure why you think that I was a blatant attack towards you, unless you're fucking guilty, because I did not actually say names. I said there's a bunch of people that run around together and they're all caving in on each other, is what I said. And then you immediately took that as to mean you. So that looks guilty as fuck. Just saying. I mean, you can do it however you want, but yeah, I find it hilarious that, you know, you missed my live and somebody sent it to you, and then you decided to make a little clip talking about how I guess you didn't get to defend yourself or something. I guess, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. Box, feel free, defend yourself, go away with proof though, because so help me God, if somebody ever jumps up in my box and does not have proof to back shit up, and they're just gonna be like blah, 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 blah. No, I don't think so. That's not how that works. You don't get to go up and just start shooting shit off. That's ridiculous. Hold on, what was this? Okay. Ryan. Yes, I'm Ryan. You know the saying, a hit dog hollers first. Who are we chatting about? Oh, anybody and everything. So I'm gonna sit here and wait and see if she wants to, you know, she wants to act like the victim, and like we had this whole live against her and she didn't get to say anything. So feel free to come up and say whatever you'd like. Absolutely. Open venue. There's never no proof about anything. The David Blanchard thing, I mean, what is it that you really want the David Blanchard thing? I mean, it's simple. The police report says he didn't go through a window. It says they caught him trying to go through a window. They stopped him from going through the window, and that he actually went through a door. And if you look at the crime scene photos, nobody went through any fucking window. Every window had shit in front of it. So he did not go through a window, and I don't know why. That's, you know, yes, in there it says that they caught him trying to go through a window. They stopped him, and that all the windows had not been disturbed. And you can look in the crime scene. There's stuff in front of every one of those windows. He didn't go through no damn window. He went through the door. What relevance that does, what changes anything, I have no idea. How he can walk by Dee Dee's room with there not being a door on it and not, I don't know, see that? I have no idea. I mean, you know, to me, if you are searching a house for somebody, you're going to turn lights on. And I'm pretty sure if he would have, you know, no bedroom door, turned a light on, seen, you know, catastrophe, Would he have been too big to go through the window? Yes. I've seen pictures of him, and he is not a small man. So there'd be that fucking problem. But besides that, in the crime scene photos taken from the inside, every one of those windows has shit in front of it. They all have shit in front of it. That the light did not work. That, I don't know. I there's always excuses for something. I don't know. If she was deceased on the 9th, but he only got there on the 10th. What happened? Because Wikipedia has it that she died the 9th. According to official standards, it was the 10th. According to conjecture and theory, the 9th. The smell of decomp. Here's the problem: decomp was slowed because she actually took the thermostat down. So she took the thermostat down. It slowed decomp. Now, but then again, you'd think what 3-4 days, even with slowed decomp, you'd think there'd be some decomp. Was it true they lost their home in Katrina, or was that a scam too? I'm not going to talk on that one because I actually do not want to give the wrong information. There's been so many scams and frauds and lies in this that I don't want to say there she was or she wasn't, because that part I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Yeah, well, you'd think you'd at least start to smell something. I mean, it's something. It's not going to be overwhelming. It's not going to be where it should be, but you'd think there'd be some type of off smell. Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's 3 to 4 days. Do you know why there was blood in the kitchen? That's anybody's guess. I mean, think about it. There was a lot of blood in the kitchen, which is weird. It's weird, not going to lie, but I mean, it is weird. I rewatched Mommy Dead and Dearest last night. I can't believe I ever fell for her BS the first time. I caught so many lies this time, and my stomach was turning the whole time. Yeah. I mean, that's the problem is this. Let's just be real. Let's call a spade a spade. If Gypsy would have got out under the narrative, and let's just say, whether you like Fancy or you don't, okay, leave that at the door. Here's the thing. If Gypsy came out of prison and we were not given this heads up by her of, hey, you need to look into this, we would all still be, self-included, on the she's a victim, she did what she had to do, she's a survivor, she's a warrior, she did everything possible, highlight her, praise her, lift her up. We would all be on that train 100 miles an hour. Do not stop. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. But all it took was somebody saying, hey, this doesn't make sense. And a lot doesn't make sense. And that's the problem. Because whether or not you like Fancy, take that out of the equation. Because all it took for me is after she told me a couple of things, I started looking into stuff. I started looking into stuff on my own because that's what I do. And I went from being a very staunch Gypsy supporter to being very, 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 very eyes opened. I just feel like, we were all fed a narrative, there's a bunch, it's selfish. We were fed a narrative that was very easy to digest because we wouldn't want to think that this was all for nothing. We wanted to rally behind the victim who got vigilante justice and moved on with her life and was a survivor. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. That's just not the case. So many things have come to light since she came out that people just, you have to understand that social media wasn't where it was. In 2015, social media isn't where it is today. And the internet lives forever. And there's things out on the internet back from 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, that when you look at this stuff since the crime happened and you just go, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. And when you start looking at all the things that don't make sense, you have to start questioning, why was this story put out? Why was this story put out and who did it serve and whose pockets did it line? Because it lined a lot of pockets. Let's just be real. Do I think she will reoffend? I have no idea. If it was where it is today, I think it would have been a lot better. We found a lot of things online in between the fact, things that disappeared the day after we talked about them, whatever, cool. It lined a lot of pockets. I mean, just realistically, it did. I mean, HBO benefited, Lifetime benefited, Christy benefited, Gypsy benefited, the entire family benefited. So, right. And why was it shoved down everyone's throats out of all the cases out there? Because it was such a strange case to begin with. Such a strange case to begin with. It was, oh, they're all missing. They're all dead. She can't walk. She can walk. She walked into the courtroom. He abducted her. He didn't abduct her. She planned it. She planned it because there was abuse. So much abuse. She has all these horrible stories, but they're all stories. None of them have any proof to them. None. And, I've had a lot of people, that comment on me every now and then and say, well, you're a victim of abuse. How can you say that she's not a victim of abuse? Here's my problem. I have receipts. And every time you ask her for a receipt, there's no receipt. And it's wild to me that there's not receipts. And not only the fact of not receipts, because sometimes you can't have a receipt. Okay, let's just be real. Sometimes you can't have a receipt, but here's the problem. What you can't do then is to take a story and change it 4 times. Her most captivating story, the story that changed everybody, was she was tied to a bed for 2 weeks. And in that story, if she would have stayed with that story and made it believable, I think a lot of us wouldn't have went, what? But the problem is she took that story, and we've heard that she was dog leashed to the bed, handcuffed to the bed, chained to the bed, chained to her mom, dog leashed from her mom to herself. She was not allowed to get up to use the bathroom. She had to use the bathroom in a bucket. And let me tell you something about trauma. Number one, there's a video of mine, unfortunately, that kind of got put out of context, and I had to kind of redo it in a way. Because I said, with trauma, you are going to remember everything. You remember every taste, every sight, every smell, everything. You remember every fucking detail. And people are like, well, I blocked out my trauma. That is also completely valid. You can absolutely completely block out your trauma. I get it. Okay. It is a self-preservation thing. Cool. You completely block out your trauma, or you remember every fucking drop of it. Okay. But there isn't a middle ground. You can't remember it and change it 4 times, because if it happened, it happened. The truth is the truth. The story stays the same. So if this happened and you remember it, then you remember it the same time every single time. Or you don't remember it and you don't remember it at all. But what you don't do is remember enough to change it on 4 separate occasions. We've got numerous videos of her changing the story. 1 minute she's chained, 1 minute she's dog leash. Well, a dog leash can be a chain. Okay, cool. You want to argue me that fact? Fine. One of them says that she's tied to the bed. One of them says she's tied to Dee Dee. How do you miss that? How do you miss being tied to both a bed and a person? How do you change that? How do you change remembering if you have to literally piss yourself or if you piss in a bucket? How do you not remember that? You're going to remember those details. And when you change those details, it does not give off an authenticity of us to even think that you're remotely acting accurately and truthfully when you are changing details to fit your narrative, to make you more of a victim each time you change it. So if you're going to have a story, stick with the story. She had freedom. She had a bus pass. She had a lot of things. People, even now I go into different videos and I see the absolute just the narrative that's been fed. And I'm just like, I want to literally video reply to every person that I see in these threads and just be like, no, you are so wrong though. You are so wrong. You watched The Act and suddenly you are now, you are suddenly Nancy Grace because you watched The Act. The Act isn't even completely factual. Okay, it's not even completely factual. So you can't watch what is it? You can't watch like a 60-minute, or you can't watch a 48 hours or whatever and crash course in an hour and think you know everything. The amount of people who thought she was a teen, she was 23. She knew she was 23. For real. And another side piece, she asked permission to sleep with. Well, I actually put those text messages up 2 days before Nick got on a bus on June 6th. She was actually messaging him asking if she could sleep with Dan. She asked 2 days before a man literally committed the most awful sin for her to help her. 2 days before he got on that bus, she asked if she could sleep with Dan. She loved Nick so much, she was going to go off and be with Nick. They were going to live happily ever after. Why were you asking to sleep with another man 2 days prior? Because it was never about Nick. It was never about, I'm just a demon, don't worry about me. It was never about Nick. It was about getting Nick to do what she needed to have done to get that out of the way. And that's it. You know, how can you put a person on a bus asking them to commit an awful crime for you and literally be texting them and say, by the way, I'm being tempted sexually. Can I sleep with someone? I know you're on the way here to take my mother's life for me, to save me. But while you're on that bus, can I please go sleep with the guy that I really love more than you? That's fucked up. That's fucked up. And I don't think enough people know that. I don't think enough people realize that that is what happens. And I don't think more people need to know that. That she was literally asking to sleep with another man 2 days before he was on that bus. Dan. There is things in the act that, I mean, it's all true based according to Gypsy. Okay? The problem is two people can talk if one of them's dead. So everything that we hear, every story we have, every situation, every scenario came from Gypsy. And because Gypsy and Dee Dee were fairly isolated to an aspect, we don't have bystander issue. I mean, we have blacked out windows. We have neighbors that minded their business. We have family who didn't give a fuck. So all we have, because Dee Dee is no longer here, is Gypsy. All we have to go off of is Gypsy. That's it. Hey, so yes, the knuckles are bruised. They are not carpet burned. She did not get those cleaning. Those are bruised. They're very markedly bruised on the right hand right here. That is a punch fracture. Those are punch bruises. Okay. Most people, even if you're left-handed, I'm left-handed, I'm going to hit you with my right. Okay. Hence why FAFO, you're going to see it coming. Okay. So her right hand is more bruised than her left. It's bruised right here. That is from literally punching somebody. Anybody who's ever scrapped knows. Okay. When you punch somebody, or even you punch a wall, you punch and you get bruises right here. That is a fact. Okay. You don't believe me? Go punch something. I don't know what to tell you. But that is not from fucking scrubbing. That's not from scrubbing carpets. That's not carpet burns. There wasn't abrasions on her knuckles. Those were bruises. Those are bruises. It doesn't matter that she was face down. Her nose, okay, here's the deal. For people who want to argue that her nose was broken because she was smushed down into the pillow. If you want to argue that, okay? Here's one thing I can tell you that's going to drive a fucking semi through that. So if, let's say he is holding her down and her nose breaks, okay? There's a gash across it. Did the pillow cut her? Did the pillow cut her? Because I'm pretty sure the pillow didn't cut her. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. So, if it happened in bed, why is the blood in the hallway? Well, see, I don't know if it actually happened in the bed. Let's just be real. I don't think any of us know if it happened in the bed. But one of the ways that it could happen, just throwing this out here, devil's advocate type deal. If it's on you, or it's on the weapon or whatever, and you are, let's say you have the knife and you're walking in, you're swinging the knife, it could go onto the hallway, it could go onto the walls, whatever. The amount that's in the kitchen, even though it's small, there's a lot of spatter, a lot of weird spatter. And it is really weird how much is in the kitchen based on how far the kitchen is from the alleged crime scene. That is strange. Not gonna lie. I mean, there is a lot of blood in a lot of places that it shouldn't be, honestly. So, do I think if she had a normal life, this wouldn't have happened? Do I think if she wouldn't have completely went along with her mom and grifted people out of money, would this have not have happened? Probably not. Probably not. Also, I put out a video. I just loaded before I got on here, and it was talking about, this is old news, absolutely old news, but with the new resurgence of the show and everything, I decided to bring it back up, get people talking and get some insight on the fact of Gypsy's name change in Arkansas in 2022. The fuck was that about? Why was it in Arkansas? What was it for? She was already essentially in Anderson. Why are we having name changes in Arkansas? How are you having name changes in Arkansas? In Arkansas, you have to be a resident to have a name change in Arkansas. Why Arkansas? Dan's from Arkansas. I don't fucking know. Weird. And they have no answer for it because I've asked Christy. I asked her point fucking blank. It just says name change requested. Name change granted. Just says name change granted. According to defendant. Do we know who Dan actually is? Well, I mean, yes. He does exist. He did actually testify in Nick's 2022 appeal. So, I mean, he exists. He's there. According to Fancy, it's one Dan. According to Bree, it's another. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for my checks here to compare the two. So, yeah, see, that's why I brought it up. Some people don't know about it. So I figured I'd just bring that little discussion up to the table. So, I mean, I know that Gypsy's getting a hold of, old friends in jail and whatnot. I don't know what she's doing with Nick. There's definitely some gesture as to whether or not she's trying to get a hold of Nick. Very possible. I have no idea. We'll check the video. Check my newest video. You can go check my newest video. Yes, in the interrogation, Nick said he'd apologize to everyone but Dan. Absolutely. I did not see. Hold on. Do I believe the ring and the crime scene is Dan's? I have no idea. That's not. See, that stuff. That's going to be theory. Because we have nowhere to compare it to. There's no picture of him wearing said ring, etc. So we don't know whose hat it is. We don't know whose whatever it is, because we don't have anybody a photo to compare it to. So, all right. So hold on. So alleged someone only wanted her transcripts. So yes. So basically what happened was, and a lot of people are reporting on this like it's a big fucking deal. It's not a big fucking deal. If you go to CaseNet, you'll see what I mean. So people have FOIA'd stuff in her accounts numerous times. So anybody can FOIA. And if you go and look at her docket entries, she's been FOIA'd numerous times. And somebody just recently, July, I said September. I was thinking about the next thing I was going to do, which was in September. July 29th, somebody FOIA'd her deposition in Nick's trial. Why they specifically asked just specifically for that portion, I don't know. I don't know why they decided just to choose that. It was a portion of his appeal. The appeal's been denied, so I'm not really sure why they're looking for it. At the point in time where they're asking if they can have this, if it is released to them, I would be a little confused because supposedly anything that was a part of his appeal is not able. It is still sealed. However, everything was returned June 6th. Exhibits were returned June 6th. So I'm not sure what exactly they're going to release or not release at this point. The rumor is that the autopsy is finally going to be unsealed in September. I don't know why they picked September. I don't know why they're doing it now. The exhibits were returned in June. He could still take it to federal. I have no idea. But they said that I've heard that they are supposed to supposedly release the autopsy in September. People who are claiming to have seen it are lying. People who have claimed to have looked at it are lying. It has been sealed since 2018. If you Google Dee Dee Blanchard autopsy, you'll get a very generic, weird thing that is not an autopsy. For anybody who's actually read an autopsy, that is not even remotely how they are said, worded. It does not include any of the things that happen in an actual autopsy file. Autopsy files, they will weigh the brain, they will weigh the organs, they will talk about how the organs look, they will talk about each and every mark, where it is, what it looks like, the depth, etc. They will talk about brain size. They will talk about a lot of things. And this weird little paragraph that's been going around as her autopsy is not even remotely close. you'd have to have actually read actual autopsy files to know why this was so different. They also usually tend to have, for the most part, pictures, at least usually drawn, of different portions of the body or wounds, etc. So she lies a lot. She lies a whole lot. Did anyone have it before 2018? So to ask Christy, she still does not have it. Okay, I've asked her. The rumor that Dawn put out that she has it, according to Christy, Dawn does not have it. According to Christy, Christy does not have it. According to Fancy, Christy does have it. I do not know with any absolute 100% can prove it fashion of who has and who doesn't have it. He's not here yet. He hasn't messaged me yet. I am going to have to go get him, which is why this live isn't going to be super, super long. I'm on Ryan Lee TM on YouTube. You can check all my lives on Ryan Lee TM on YouTube. Good night, Andra. So the only people who can really tend to get it in that portion is family. Christy still swears she doesn't have it. She swears that all of the discs from everything is on discs, and that she wouldn't know where to look if she looked, and she wouldn't know blah, 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 blah. Okay. Can she be recalled back to prison? So here's the deal. Double jeopardy will always apply. Anything that was originally put against her, she was still found guilty, even though there wasn't a trial to be tried. She cannot be tried again due to double jeopardy. She can be tried for other things if for some reason some other thing happened. Now with like the fraud, there's statute of limitations. I don't really see that happening. There's statute of limitations for a lot of things. At this point, the only thing that I could see, again, not a legal law expert by any stretch of the imagination, but the only thing that I can see that would land her back in prison would be repeated violations of her parole. And you have to also remember that technical violations of parole aren't really a huge they're not really a huge factor in really replacing somebody back into jail or prison. They don't really like to do the rescinding. So they will basically they will keep giving her rope to hang herself. Eventually, if she does it enough, there is going to be some type of ramification. I was looking at the different laws. She can go back for 180 days or up to her, the rest of her sentence, whichever one is less. So if she got put back in jail on a parole violation that is more severe than a technicality, she could go back for 180 days, which is 6 months. Could she go federal level for fraud? Again, statute of limitations, I'm not really sure. There's a lot of things that I don't understand why they were not tried or looked at when everything went to par. I know that she had a second-degree plea, but there was a lot of other things more than just murder, okay? She mailed a weapon over state lines. To me, right there, it should have been federal from the get-out. She mailed a weapon over state lines. That immediately made it federal, in my opinion. I don't understand why that wasn't an issue. I don't understand why that wasn't an issue. Right there. That enough right there. She mailed something over state lines. I don't know why it wasn't immediately federal. Immediately federal. Nick had court appointed. He had court appointed. And they did not do him any justice. They were pretty ineffective, honestly. Do I think he needs to be out? Absolutely not. Do I think that he deserves a fair trial? I absolutely do. I absolutely believe that he should be in prison. I absolutely believe that Gypsy Rose should be in prison. Let's just be real. Let's just call a spade a spade. If Gypsy Rose was a 35-year-old white male who had gotten his significant other to do something for him, he would be considered a hitman. He would be considered a conspirator. He would be considered the one who set everything in motion, and he would be serving a life sentence. Instead, we see a thin, frail, shaved head, sickly little girl with a high-pitched voice, with a story to tell. And we cried with her, and she got a slap on the fucking wrist, and she knew it. She said no. She said in a video. She said no. She said in an She said in an interview that she knew that there was no conspirator laws in Minnesota. She knew she wasn't going to get it for conspiring. She already knew. She already knew. Her voice changes for whenever it's needed to change. Whenever it's needed to change. Should Nick be in a facility? Very possibly. Very possibly. Absolutely. I don't know why. Yeah, everybody wanted to still believe she's a child. Yes, she's 4'11". Yes, she had a shaved head. That makes you got to wonder, though. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do this too. It's funny to me that she had this shaved head while this was going on. Was it to make herself look more like a victim? Do we know with any portion of proof that Dee Dee made her shave her head? Do we know this? Or do we know that she liked to wear wigs and it was easier to wear wigs? Do we know that she knew she was setting this up? She knew she was going to look like a victim and she had to look as sickly as possible. She knew she had to look as sickly as possible. What's the best way to look sick? Shave your fucking head. So do we know that Dee Dee made her, or do we know that maybe it was her fucking idea? We don't know. We were never going to know. We are never going to know. We're just not. I mean, unless she writes a book, If I Did It. That's the only way we're going to know. Or if Nick finally says something. Which with the videos that he's allowing to be put out about himself, he might as well just stop with the appeals because he's done fucked himself. He has done absolutely fucked himself with this set of creators that are more hell bent on throwing shade at me and Nina and Fancy and Natasha and Brie than they are at helping Nick. Because any friend would not allow him to want to put out the stuff that they are putting out. Period. I think lie detectors, you can lie through a lie detector. Let's just be real. You can. And there's she could probably beat a lie detector. But it'd be nice to see it. Why not? Are we related? No, we're not related, thank God. I had my own Gypsy 2.0, which is why I'm so about this case. I damn near got the Dee Dee special. So, I mean, this is why this case is what it is to me, because I've been it, I've lived it, and then somehow ended up getting involved with the family. Never saw that coming. Trust me on that. Never saw that coming. Am I a detective? No. I've just been interested in true crime for 30 years. That's all. Yeah. So Nick's appeals have all been exhausted. They've all been exhausted at this point. The only thing that he can look for, as far as I'm aware, again, if I'm wrong, please feel free to, with proof, correct me. At this point, he can ask for clemency, or he can take it to the Supreme Court. Give her the truth serum shot and give her a lie detector. Hell yeah, why not? Why not? That's what I would love. I appreciate you, Randallin. Appreciate you. So, if you guys have not followed me on YouTube, please follow me there. I'm live there every night at 8 o'clock. I've been live a few times today. I did my trauma live. I did another live. I did this live. I'm always live on YouTube. And you can catch my lives on replay. It is very annoying that we're never going to know the whole story. It's very annoying. And I think that's the biggest problem. But, I've never seen anywhere in the history of ever, in all the time that I've watched true crime, where a person who was involved in true crime came out of prison and became a fucking celebrity. I've not seen where they've gotten, I've understood, they sit down with Dateline. Okay. They sit down with Dateline. Cool. Fine. What they don't do is have like 3 documentaries, 2 or 3 books, a Lifetime reality series. They're brought on by this creator and that creator and got this free thing and that free thing. For Gypsy to sit there and say that what Dee Dee did is wrong, she's doing it now. She's using her victim status to get free shit. She is literally continuing the same con grift that Dee Dee set her up for. She has said numerous times, she taught me to lie and lie without conscience. I lie very well. My mom taught me her game. She did. She is taking her victim status. She is taking her status that people see her as a victim, that people that don't have their eyes open. And she is using that to get free shit. She's using that to get free shit. Now, as for people talking about CPS, I'm going to say something right now. If you are one of the absolute assholes who's going to be vindictive and start calling CPS out the gate, let me tell you why that's not going to work out for you. Number one, you never use CPS. CPS as a weapon. You are taking a CPS investigator away from a case that actually needs it. One. So when you are clogging up CPS lines with bullshit You are taking a much needed investigator off of one and putting it onto something that does not need to be investigated yet. Number two, when you bring CPS in and you say, oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, and it's not happening, guess what happens, Chicken Little? The minute it does happen, they don't investigate. They don't investigate. So if you are thinking about being one of those assholes who's going to call and say, hey, I think, you need to do this. If she gets enough calls, it's going to be like Janelle Evans. They're not going to pay attention. They're not going to pay attention. Yeah, baby.
I'm here.
Okay, give me 10 to wrap it up, okay?
I know, I'm watching you.
All right, love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Hang up. All right, so we got to get back on connection here real quick. You know what? And that's the sickest thing of it all. That's the sickest thing of it all. If you think about it, when Gypsy says, I hope my mom is proud of me, honestly, Dee Dee has to be just because I think Gypsy took this to a level that even Dee Dee herself never thought that she would get to. I mean, Dee Dee grifted, and Dee Dee grifted well, okay? They got house, they got cars, they got trips, they got the whole nine, right? But Gypsy has achieved a level of stardom that Dee Dee always wanted. Dee Dee always wanted to be in lights. She was in pageants, etc. And Dee Dee always wanted this level of stardom, and Gypsy has achieved that level of stardom. Gypsy has achieved what Dee Dee set out to do. Do you know why all of Nick's got denied? No, I do not. I do not. I have no idea. So in the original photos, regardless of what any bulldog on this app will tell you, in the beginning, in the original Springfield letter, which was leader letter, that is Springfield's paper, in the beginning, when this all happened, there was absolutely articles out there that said that the family was being investigated for a long-standing financial fraud scheme. Okay, there was articles in 2015 that said the family was being investigated for a long financial fraud scheme. However, this is why they always want to say charges were never filed. You know why? It's a lot easier and a lot less taxpayer money to just nail the murderer. So they nailed the murderer. She pays her time. Boom, done. Because what you can't do, what are you gonna do? Stack all that shit on top of each other? No. So what they did was they gave her a pass, and they swept it under the rug. If you look, it takes you 2 seconds on Google, 2 seconds, and you will find the original articles where the cop literally said, things are not as they seem. The family has been running a long financial fraud scheme. They knew it. People around town knew it. They all knew it. This was not news. Okay? So just remember that this was something that was well known. Okay. So here's the deal. I told you guys I was not going to have a whole lot of time. Go check out my new videos. Follow me on Ryan Lee TM on YouTube. If you hear a rumor about me, or if you hear something that you think I need to hear, send me a text, tag me in a video, shoot any type of theory you want at me. My inbox is always open on TikTok or my other TikTok, ryan.lee.tm. As usual, follow me, Ryan Lee TM on YouTube. And I hope y'all are good. I may be back later for yet another one. And go watch my newest video. Thanks, TikTok. All right, guys. I have to go get the hubby. As you can hear, he called me to let me get my phone all together here. I went live. This is like my third time going live today. I don't know what's going on when he gets home. I don't really know. I might end up going live later when it gets later. I don't know. I got to see what he's doing. I will see you lovelies later.